A joint account is a bank account opened in the names of two or more individuals. There are various reasons for opening a joint account. The most common is certainly to make it easier for a couple to manage their finances, especially when they need to pay shared expenses. All those holding the joint account have the same rights when it comes to withdrawals, deposits, and any other banking transactions allowed in the account. As a result, each account holder can do transactions without first obtaining the other account holder's permission, unless the account has been specifically set up to require this consent. Traditionally, when a couple gets married, they merge their money along with their lives. That may mean taking shared responsibility for paying bills or developing joint savings goals. It can also mean combining their paychecks or other recurring income such as tax and cash gifts from the wedding into a single bank account. For many couples, a joint bank account is the ultimate symbolic gesture of their financial union. But that does not mean it is a system that works for all couples. Whether you are a newlywed or in a long-term relationship, deciding how to manage your bank account should be a top priority. Weighing the pros and cons of all options can help in making a decision. Having one bank account offers a number of benefits, but joint bank accounts usually provide each account holder with a debit card, a checkbook, and the ability to make deposits and withdraw funds. If your bank provides it, each of you would also have online access to account information and tools, which can simplify paying bills and other shared financial tasks. Some legal affairs are also streamlined with joint bank accounts. In the event that one spouse passes away, the other spouse will retain access to the funds in a joint bank account without having to refer to a will or go through the legal system to claim the money. Depending on the state and local laws, the surviving spouse may have to go through a lengthy legal process to claim money in a separate account. One of the main advantages of a joint bank account is that there is a smaller chance of encountering financial surprises. When all money goes into and comes out of one account that both of you can see, couples with joint accounts may find it easier to keep track of their finances because all expenses come out of one account. This makes it harder to miss account activities such as withdrawals and payments, and easier to balance the checkbook at the end of the month.
The issue in Christian marriage is not the issue of joint account. A Christian marriage is following biblical injunction in marriage. The Bible says, wife, submit to your husband. Wife says, the husband, love your wife even as Christ loved the church. So love is a crucial issue. Following Christ is a crucial issue. You can have a successful Christian marriage when you have different accounts. If your wife decides to have a separate account, that is not the crucial issue in Christian marriage. The issue is submission to your husband. And the issue is your husband love your wife even as Christ loved the church. That is very, very crucial. There is oneness in marriage, you are one. But I don't think the important issue is particularizing joint accounts. That is not the crucial issue in social. You can have a successful Christian marriage having separate accounts. It depends on what is convenient for the couple. But the couple should agree. The issue of what the account should be should not separate the couple. You need to agree, because you need to agree to live together. And you need to follow Christ likeness. And you need to love one another. That is what the Bible preaches. And I believe that whether you have a separate account or you have a joint account, you can have a successful marriage.
Is it advisable?
It's advisable. There's nothing against it. Joint account can be good. But you can also have a separate account and be good to one another. That's very good. That is not a crucial issue. That is not a particular issue in successful Christian marriage. It's love and Christ likeness.
In a world of uncertainty, what I mean by that, anything can happen at any time.
Anybody can become anything at any time. Things can change at any time. One is very auspicious, careful in everything that you are doing. Nothing wrong if couples have a joint account. If they love themselves, trust themselves, believe in each other, no matter what, if they love themselves, use that word love. Jesus said, if you love me, you keep my commandment. The commandment could be rigid, could be strong, but when there is love, you find strength to keep them. So if there are love in the marriage between the couple, it's very easy. The love can generate it himself. Love generates so many things. So if there is love, go ahead, do it. But if there is no assurance of that love, that anything can happen at any time, I want to beg you to avoid the story that tell.
If both of you are not working, or one is working, the other one is not working, there's still a but. I would rather suggest that each and every one of you should have his or her own account for the purpose of avoiding misunderstanding. Because going to a couple, another partner, to go and say, I want to go and plait my hair, I want to buy pants, I want to buy this, then that one will lead to trouble. It's better to avoid it. Let everybody, have his own account. It's better. Otherwise, there will be confusion. And that confusion can lead to so many things. So many things. Joint account is not advisable. In my own case, I would say have your own separate account. When you are in need of money, you can ask your wife, what do you have in your account? Can you support with anything? Then she will bring it out. This is what I have. And then you manage it. But if it's a joint account, everybody you will be monitoring each other. There's no use for that, especially nowadays. No need. It's better to have separate accounts.
One of the main conversations you should have as a couple is how to handle money. Why some couples feel that marriage is a partnership in which everything should be shared, including bank accounts. Others value autonomy more highly. There are advantages and disadvantages to joint accounts, and there are no hard and fast rules about the best type of account. Whatever works best for both of you as a couple should prevail. Joint bank accounts are easy to use because of its benefits. Either spouse can access the money at any time to make payments, even though both of your names are on the account. You don't need written permission from your spouse to access the account. This can be particularly helpful if one spouse is unreachable. Having your assets in one joint account can also make your financial life simpler, as you do not have to track multiple accounts. A single joint account eliminates the possibility of having too much money in one account and not enough in the other when you need it, reducing the chance of an overdraft. A joint account can make it easier to pay bills and handle shared expenses. Since the funds are coming out of the same pot of money, there is no need to split the bills or nag the other spouse for their share of the payment. If you're looking to keep tabs on your combined financial picture, having your bills paid out of a joint account can make it easier to balance the books, since there is no need to pinpoint which withdrawals or deposit came from which account. A joint account can force financial accountability and communication. With a joint account, each spouse can see what the other is spending, making each of you accountable for the purchases you make. If both parties view the account as our money, they may be more willing to discuss purchases together before making them, to ensure they fit within the budget. Having a joint account helps prevent additional stress during a crisis. For example, if one spouse loses their job or is out of work for an extended period of time due to a medical issue, you won't have to scramble to merge your finances or change which account your scheduled bill payments are coming out of. If one spouse is a stay-at-home parent, having a joint account can keep them from feeling like they are not being compensated for their job or from feeling like they have to ask their partner for money.
I would not like to have the same account with my wife, because everyone deserves their own privacy, and my bank account should be my own responsibility, not hers.
Definitely no. I mean, I would not want to operate same bank account with my wife, seeing as we are two separate individuals. Even though the Bible says, okay, a man and a woman will become one flesh, and two shall become one, and all of that. But the thing is, things can happen in the future. I mean, although we don't pray for failed marriages, we don't pray for divorce and all of that, but sometimes one needs to be safe. I mean, fine, you could have one joint account that the both of you run for yourself, for the family, and everyone else, but you can also have separate accounts that you can keep for yourself, just in case the need arises where you want to, use your money for certain things.
When it comes to the joint account thing, it's a decision that has to do with both parties, but it's not really like a necessity, But on a second thought, I would really not push into the fact that couples should have a joint account, because the essence of joint account is basically because of the idea of trust. So if I trust a partner, or if I trust my partner, I wouldn't want to even go into the fact that okay, we need to have a joint account, because my personal account can be as accessible as possible, even hers as well. So for me, I think there is really nothing so spectacular about having a joint account. Then, like you said, looking at the rise in the divorce stuff in the society, this is one of the implications you get to find out when first of all, the reason there was even a divorce in the first place is probably because these guys are not maybe 100% compatible. But if you choose a partner, or if you get a partner that you know that this person is very compatible, and you guys have been doing good stuff together, and you can accommodate yourself, for me, for the first thing is there might not even be a need to even be divorced. So you would probably not even see a need to have a joint account, because you guys are already cool from day one. So for me, joint account is not a necessity, but if they choose to, fine and well. So whatever plays out at the end of the day, maybe when they divorce and what have you, they will have to go for it, because they made the decision first.
I believe that joint accounts have to be based on understanding. If you have a joint account with your wife, does not mean you love your wife. You may not love your wife, you will still have a joint account with your wife, because of the nature of your business you are doing. So joint account should be a means of understanding, a means of transparency for we to manage money. For example, I want to spend money because I have a joint account with my wife. I will be accountable to my wife so that I will not misspend money or mismanage money. That purpose is good. Now, the rate of divorce today is on a high rate in the world today, because of social media contribute a lot, where your wife can be with you using social media to communicate. People send your wife messages, how are you, fine, you look good. All those things contribute at least 40% of the high rate of divorce. And today there are other things that contribute to high rate of divorce. It's not just because of the joint account. It's an issue that the divorce issue, we must first of all know that when you are married for better, for what? It's based on understanding. Simply means just on understanding. So if you want to have a joint account, is fine. But for me, I have my own understanding on joint account. I have an account that me and my wife were on joint account. I have a business account which only me and my company operate. So it depends on what I'm doing, and it depends on the stream of my income matters. The fact that Mr. A have joint account does not mean I must have joint account. If, for example, having a business I'm running and my business not having to do with my wife at all, then there's no need for my wife to be part of my business I'm doing, because there are other signatories there. It's like a church. If you're a person in a church, you don't need to make your wife what is signatory. So there are some company does not allow your wife to be part of it at all, and there's a company that allow your wife, and there's also personal account. You can say, oh, this account is to run the affairs of the home. So it depends on understanding. All the same is based on understanding.
Some of the negatives of a joint bank account is that you might not always know what is in the account, since both spouses have unrestricted access to the account. You could end up overdrawn if your spouse makes purchases and fails to tell you. If things turn bad in your relationship, each spouse has the ability to clean out the account and take all the money, even if it was deposited by the other spouse. A joint account also prevents each individual from building up his or her own credits. You or your spouse may feel confined without access to your own money. With a joint account, there is a lack of financial privacy since you both have your finances exposed to one another. It can also make buying your spouse a present with your debit card a bit of a challenge. Having the store's name and the exact dollar amount you spent right there in the account transaction history can really ruin a surprise. When one spouse enters the marriage with loans, credit card balances, child support obligations, or other types of debts, the other partner could become resentful of them being paid with joint funds. Since you both have access to the funds in the account, one of you could essentially empty the account without the other one knowing. With joint accounts, it's common for one spouse to manage the couple's finances, which could be a potential point of friction and resentment depending on the couple. When you get married, you and your spouse may already have individual bill payments set up to come out of your respective accounts. Many couples don't want to go through the hassle of establishing new joint accounts, unscheduling existing bill payments, and rescheduling them. If you and your spouse decide to separate, the funds in a joint account can be messy to untangle, especially since both parties have the legal right to withdraw money from the account. If you're finding it hard to decide whether a joint account or a separate account is right for you and your spouse, there is a third option: having both. Many couples decide to take a hybrid approach, maintaining separate accounts as well as a joint account where they each deposit a portion of their income.
When we talk about joint account, we are really talking about being together. That's togetherness. And I would like to say that before one can embark on a joint account, there should have been a closeness on the part of the spouse. Closeness, good relationship, and understanding, which is the key, the most important part of a relationship. A relationship where there is no understanding tends to break at any time, and you see that the aliens, I call third-party aliens, they come into the relationship and spoil it. So if you don't have good relationship, good understanding with your spouse, I would encourage such relationship, such a couple to go into joint account. But if you have good understanding, joint account is good because you understand yourselves. You can go here before you can withdraw at any time. Surely some men, they may not allow their wives to withdraw from there at any given time. The same with the other party. But if you have understanding is the bedrock of a relationship. Once understanding is there, it's good to go. But for me, I don't think I can do that, because there are so many histories of battery and assault and all that, whereby some men, when you have joint accounts, they begin to make use of the funds there wrongly. The other person may get offended, and you see there's breakage and misunderstanding, quarrels and all that comes in. So if you don't have understanding, which is the bedrock, there shouldn't be any need for joint accounts.
Couples operating joint accounts, to me, it's not a bad idea, because first, as a couple, it means that nothing should be hidden from both partners. So I believe it's a good one for them to have a joint account, the income that is coming from the man's side and from the woman's side. So both of them can see, and that's transparency. It's transparent. They can see what is actually coming in. You understand? But to some other persons, they may see it as not too good anyway, because the man would probably want to keep some certain part of the money, wouldn't want the wife to get to know about his income or what is coming in. But to me, I think as a couple, it means that you guys are coming as one. You guys are one already. So it's a good idea that you guys have to see whatever that comes in to the account, whatever you guys are making is transparent. But if you start having a separate account, it means that something is fishing. You're actually hiding something. So having a joint account to me is not a bad idea.
Once upon a time, a friend of mine had a joint account, and anytime when the man travel, he will now use on behalf of the man. He will withdraw money without the consent of the man. I don't totally support joint account because some of the women, I don't have trust. Some of them I don't have trust in them. They always try to cheat a man. So joint account is not a welcome development.
While sharing a bank account can simplify your money management system, some couples may feel a loss of financial independence with a joint bank account, especially early in the marriage. With separate accounts, each spouse maintains an individual degree of freedom over their finances. One major drawback to sharing a joint bank account is that it can cause issues in the marriage when spouses are not communicating about their account activities. Problems may also arise when one spouse enters the marriage with student loans, credit cards, alimony, child support, or other debt that must now be paid with joint funds. This situation can often cause resentment in the other spouse, who may become responsible for paying the debt as well. To avoid money arguments, couples should discuss their separate debts in detail before deciding on which kind of banking works best for them. A major decision which intending or married couples are usually faced with is how to manage their finances. Before a couple takes the decision to have a joint account, it is advisable for them to have proper knowledge of its benefits and associated risks. One of the reasons why couples keep joint accounts is the mutual security and reassurance that they have without doubting each other. A couple with high trust for each other and who have similar spending and saving habits may be more comfortable keeping a joint account than those in which one partner is a good saver and the other a heavy spender. A joint account enables a couple to plan their budget, spend and invest their funds together. However, partners can sometimes feel trapped with their spending if they have to get permission from each other before they can access the money. Even if a partner decides to get legal action to get the money back, this may take a longer and stressful process without any assurance of winning the case. Since both account holders own the joint account, each person can manage the account at his or her own discretion without the consent of the other account holder. For instance, any of them can withdraw funds or even close the account. Banks will accept the instructions of either account holder because both of them are authorized to act alone, even though the account is jointly held, unless otherwise indicated. Caroline Okonji on Special Report.